People noticed him, but they didn't really see him. He was thin, with silver hair always neatly combed, wearing a brown jacket that looked older than the diner itself. He always ordered the cheapest special, counted his change carefully, and smiled politely at the waitress without ever starting a conversation. He never brought a phone, never rushed, never complained, just ate quietly and left a few coins as a tip, even when it looked like he couldn't afford to. The staff called him the quiet grandpa. Customers came and went, laughing, arguing, scrolling on their phones, living loud lives around him. But his booth stayed silent. Day after day, week after week, year after year. No one knew his name. Until Lily started working there. Lily was 22, fresh out of community college, juggling 2 jobs and a dream of becoming a nurse. She worked afternoons at the diner to help her mom pay rent after her dad passed away. She noticed Grandpa on her very first shift. Something about the way he sat alone, staring out the window between bites, reminded her of her own grandfather who used to wait by the door every evening for a visit that rarely came. At first, Lily treated him like everyone else, took his order, refilled his water, gave him his check. But she started noticing small things. He always cut his food into tiny pieces as if saving it. He wrapped half his sandwich to take home every time. And sometimes when he thought no one was looking, his eyes filled with tears. One rainy afternoon, the diner was nearly empty. Lily brought his plate and noticed his hands trembling as he tried to lift his fork. "You okay today, sir?" she asked gently. He smiled, the kind of smile that tries to hide pain. "Just getting old," he said. She hesitated, then did something no one had done in years. She pulled up a chair across from him. "Can I ask you something?" she said softly. He looked surprised. "Of course. Why do you always eat alone?" The question hung in the air like a confession. For a long moment he said nothing. Then his shoulders slumped, as if the weight he'd been carrying finally became too heavy. "My name is Harold," he said. "And I don't eat alone by choice." That day, Harold told his story for the first time in years. He had been married for 46 years to a woman named Margaret. They raised 2 kids in the same town, coached Little League, hosted Thanksgiving dinners, and believed family would always stay close. But life didn't turn out the way he expected. Margaret passed away from cancer. His son moved across the country for work. His daughter stopped calling after a long, painful argument he still didn't fully understand. "At first, they said they were busy," Harold said quietly. "Then the calls stopped. Then the holidays stopped. Eventually, I stopped expecting anyone. The diner became his routine, his one reason to leave the house, his way of pretending he still belonged somewhere." Lily felt her throat tighten. She reached across the table and held his shaking hand. "No one deserves to feel invisible," she said. The next day, Lily told her coworkers about Harold. Then she told her mom. Then she posted a short message on a local community Facebook page. "There's an elderly man who eats alone every day at Maple Street Diner. His name is Harold. If you ever see him, say hello." She didn't expect what happened next. The following week something changed. A middle-aged man walked into the diner, spotted Harold, and froze. "Dad," he said, voice cracking. Harold looked up slowly, disbelief washing over his face. It was his son. The post had reached him. He had assumed his father was doing fine. That silence meant strength. He didn't realize silence meant loneliness. They hugged in the middle of the diner while everyone watched, some wiping tears, others standing still as if afraid to break the moment. But that wasn't the end. A few days later, a woman walked in holding a little girl's hand. "Dad," she whispered. "Harold's daughter." She apologized through tears. For the anger. For the years lost. For not seeing his pain. That booth on Maple Street Diner was never empty again. Sometimes it was just Harold and Lily. Sometimes his family joined. Sometimes strangers sat with him just to talk. The diner even put up a small sign. "No one eats alone here." Harold started smiling more, eating more, living more. And Lily? She learned something that changed her forever. She learned that asking one simple question can reopen hearts, reconnect families, and remind someone that they still matter. So the next time you see someone sitting alone, don't scroll past them in real life. Don't assume they're fine. Ask, listen, care.